Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Weekly Options. Welcome back to the channel. Well, today was a really nice day of trading. Today I made over $77,478 trading today. And what I'm going to do today is walk you through my trading day, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did to gain this profit today. What we'll do here is just kind of look at some of the winners here. I won on 100% of my trades today. I took a trade on STX, closed out a trade in BITF, and then also had some small trades in SPX and SPY. So what we'll do today is just kind of go through the process of my trading day, and I'll walk you through step by step how this day unfolded. So let's get right to the video. Hello, my friends. Good morning. Welcome back to Weekly Options. Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday morning, and we are getting ready to start a day of trading here. It's approximately 8:10 Central Time on Monday, September 15th. And I'm just looking here at the 4-hour chart of the E-mini S&P futures, the ES futures. And let's just zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, and I'll kind of show you some of the things I look at the start of the day. So on the daily chart here on the ES futures, I have the high of yesterday and the low of yesterday, meaning Friday. So the high and the low of Friday's candle mapped out with these little horizontal lines here. So I'll drop down to the 15-minute chart here, and we'll take a look at what the futures are doing early this morning. And as you can see, we were kind of trading in the middle of Friday's range, and then here at around 7:15 we popped above it for a little bit, didn't close above the high of Friday, and then now finally we're getting some action above Friday's high of day. So things look a little bullish. We've had some good news this morning. I think Elon Musk put $1 billion in Tesla, and so Tesla's up like 8% in pre-market. So congrats to everyone who took that trade. I am not in that trade, so I'm just kind of watching. I'm not going to have any FOMO. I don't have any plans to trade the Tesla position. I've got about, I'd say maybe 30 to 40% of my portfolio sitting in cash this morning. So I've got ample dry powder to take advantage of any situation that crops up today. But I'll just look at a couple things that I'm in right now. Palantir's looking pretty good today. I was in Palantir at this point and then also this point. So as we were right here along this 100 EMA, that's when I was accumulating my calls, and we are now starting to head north in Palantir. So I'm in that trade. Looking good for the start of the day. I do have a little bit of a dabble in JBDI, and I bought some shares right in this area on this pop-up. It was a little bit speculative. I don't have a large position at all. Just a dabble in this position, not much. And we are above where I purchased the shares. We'll see if we get some northern migration. I am back in Hood. I am long calls. I purchased some calls on Friday, so I'll be watching that position today. Generac, I'm long Generac, so we'll see how Generac goes today. I'm in CoreWeave as well. CoreWeave, I took a long in CoreWeave. Let's just kind of look at this here. We're coming down here. We had a little bit of a pop-up back down through the month of August. I kind of looked at this as maybe a double bottom, a bottom here and a bottom here. And on this gap up, I went ahead and took a long position. We actually came down and filled the gap. And so I'm hoping we can go further north today. And as you can see in pre-market, it's up quite a bit. So maybe we are going to be heading north today on CoreWeave. Nice. We'll get back to the ES futures. We'll drop down to the 15-minute candles. I like looking at the 4-hour time frame, and I also like looking at the 15-minute time frame here. So I'm kind of thinking about what my plan's going to be for trading SPX today. And I look at ES futures prior to market open, and then I look at the SPX during the market to try to decide what I'm going to do. I do kind of like this positive momentum. We've got a little bit of good news with Tesla today. We'll see if the momentum kind of takes us higher. I do think that we'll probably come down and maybe open up somewhere at the high of Friday. What we'll do here on SPX, looks like I already have it marked out. So we've got the high and the low of Friday already marked out. So you can see that here. I've got this high marked out, and then I've got the low of Friday marked out. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be paying attention to price as it comes into that area. And if price comes above this area, I think that's pretty bullish and we might be looking to long. If we drop below the low of Friday, then I may be looking to buy some puts and go short. So we'll see how the market opens. We'll be back on the open. Okay, so the market has just opened and we have some nice upward movement here on the futures. Let's take a look at where SPX is opening, and it looks like we have a nice good gap up above the close of yesterday, and we're going to see how this candle plays out. While we're looking at this, we'll actually check CoreWeave. CoreWeave is up about 6.5% today. We had this gap fill and now a gap up. We're going to just come in a little bit here, but this is looking pretty nice. Happy with this movement thus far. We'll see how this candle closes and how the next candle opens on that. Let's take a look at this here. This is Ethereum ETF, and we are way back down here. So just overall, just not happy with this ETHA trade. We'll watch it closely through the first part of this week. But let's go back and see what SPX is doing this morning. We'll drop down to the 5-minute time frame here. And it looks like right now buyers and sellers are conducting business right at that $6,608 level. Okay, looks pretty good. You know, the one thing I'm noticing, the VIX today is positive. And anytime I see the VIX positive, in the markets positive, it just tells me that there's just probably a little bit of nervous excitement going on, and this can go either way. Okay, we've got about a minute and a half left in this candle, so we'll come back and see how the next 5-minute candle opens up. Guys, this is the BITF ticker symbol here. I was long calls here on this speculative trade, and I'm just noticing here we've had a huge gap up on Monday morning here, and I am up well over 50% on my position. So this is a 20% gap up this morning on this trade. This is really good. I'm just wondering what I should do about this. Should I lock in some profits now, take my profits and run, or should I just kind of see where this goes? But I'm going to be watching this very closely this morning. This is a bit of an unexpected surprise, and I'm glad to see this gap up here. We'll see what I do with this position. So as you can see here, this is my BITF position, and I am up about 56% on the trade today. That's my net gain on the trade. I'm up 63% today. I'm up about $37,000 on this trade already this morning. You know, I don't want to be greedy. Maybe I'll take the profits and run on this. We'll see. I'll watch it for probably another 20 or 30 minutes and then I'll make a decision. Okay, coming back to SPX here, we still have this nice gap up, and it looks like we're looking at the second 5-minute candle, and it looks like it's an inside candle. So we had the doji first candle, we've got an inside second candle. Still unsure of the direction of SPX today. We're going to just keep looking at this and be patient, let the trade come to us. Right now, I don't want to overcommit too soon. But I'll tell you what, I really am pretty excited about this. You know, I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and take my profits on this trade, but I'm going to be patient just a little bit longer. Another one I want to highlight is Seagate Technologies. I bought some calls right here, and we are now up substantially on the day. My calls have appreciated over 30% thus far, and we're just going higher. So I need to make a decision on when I'm going to exit this position. You know, I kind of like to lock in gains between 30 and 50%, so we'll see how that goes. So you can see here on my Seagate position, I'm up 34% today. I'm up 38% on the trade. My unrealized gain is $40,000. So I don't know. I may want to lock that in. We'll see. And I'm still in BITF right now. We are up 40%. I have a limit sell order for $1.44. We'll see if we can hit that. That might be a touch greedy, but if I can go ahead and get the price up to 144, I'll go ahead and sell at $1.44. That limit order is entered right now, so we'll see how that goes. The other one I want to talk about is CoreWeave. Let's look at that for a second. My CoreWeave position had a nice pop today. We are up today 25%. My entire position's up 15%. So right now, it looks like I'm up around $18,000 on my CoreWeave position that I entered on Friday. So we've got quite a few things that are working pretty nicely today. So overall, I'm happy with the day thus far. Still looking for my trade in SPX. Okay, so we're looking at SPX right now, and the first 15-minute candle closed in the bottom part of the range. We've had a strong second 15-minute candle that's broken above the first candle. We're above the high of day yesterday, and we've got a very nice strong candle forming right now. We'll see how things start on the next candle. And there we go. The next candle is immediately printing higher, so this looks like it's something that I may want to long. So I'm going to probably look for some options here. I'm going to probably go at around the 70 delta, and let's see what kind of price I can get. Okay, my STX order just closed for 50% profit. That's nice. And I'm just waiting here. It looks like we are coming down just a little bit, so I want to try to get the best fill possible. All right, so it looks like I am now in SPX. I got filled with some calls at 108, which is nice. So I'll go ahead and mark that position here. And we are long calls. Okay. All right, let's see how it goes throughout the day. What I'm probably going to do, I just realized I actually have an appointment to go to today, so I'm probably going to set a take profit of 21% on this particular option trade, and I'll probably put in a stop loss at around maybe 30%. I think I'm comfortable with that for my position size on this trade. Okay, excellent. My Seagate trade, my STX trade just closed. I came in here on the Thursday, the 11th of September. We had this really nice, good gap up, and my take profit, which I think was set for 50%, closed right here. So that's a nice trade. We'll just notch that as a win today. And about right there is where I closed, and very happy for that trade. You can see here on the STX trade, I netted a profit of $53,000 on that trade, and I was just in it on Thursday and Friday, and then it just auto closed today. So that's a wonderful trade. Glad to have made a winning trade right there. The next trade that I want to look to clean up here is this one on BITF. We had a nice gap up today. I've been wanting to see some upward momentum here. and I'm not seeing it other than this gap up, and we've had some of these little doji candles. We're just coming down a little bit lower. We're now 35 minutes into the trading day. If I don't see some continued momentum on this, then I'll probably close this within the next half an hour. Okay, this is BITF here, and I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We had a nice pop on the day. We've had a couple doji candles. This one closed in the bottom of the range. This next candle's printing and it's red. So I'm not going to get greedy. This was just a speculative play for me, and I'm glad to make a little bit of profit here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this trade out. I'm not going to get greedy. So as it currently stands, I'm up about, let's see, $27,000 on the trade. I'm up 45, almost 46%. I think that's really nice. I'm going to go ahead and close the trade right here. We'll see if I get a fill at 123. I'm moving some size here, so they dropped it down to 120. Let's see if I can get out at 120. And I'm out at 120. Very nice. Looks like CoreWeave's doing nice today. I'm up $22,000 today in CoreWeave, unrealized gain. But nice to notch that good win in the BITF trade. Nice day today. Things are going smoothly. I'll be back with more action. I'm looking here at the NVIDIA stock, and it's down about 2% on the day. And, you know, they got some bad news today that they're being investigated by China for some unfair sales practice or something. The stock sold off today, and it's just down here about 2% lower, about 1.5% lower. The things I like about it, I'm going to just zoom out to the 4-hour chart here. So this is the 4-hour chart, and we've talked about these in the past. These are my linear regression channels, and the linear regression channels are slanting up and to the right, which shows that we're in a positive uptrend still. And then when I come down to the 15-minute chart, the 15-minute candles are also slanting up and to the right. So I think we're in a good position to, I think, go higher. I think as far as a risk reward trade, I think picking up some calls down here is a good idea. We may still come down and fill this gap. However, NVIDIA is pretty strong. I just don't think we'll do that. I could be wrong. This is the 200 period moving average on the 15-minute chart. We're right at that level. I think this looks good for a long here. So I'm going to go ahead and look out to maybe December or January and buy some calls and see if we can get some gain on this stock. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I just got filled with NVIDIA calls. I bought 48 calls, and right now we're just in the position, so we're pretty much at break even. We'll see how these appreciate through the day and throughout the week. I feel pretty good about this trade. I think it's a pretty good risk reward ratio. Long NVIDIA. We're taking a quick look here back on the SPX trade. We see that price is up from where I purchased my long calls. And so we are now approximately 1 hour from the time of the purchase of these calls. We're in the mid-morning session, and the market looks like it's heading positive for the day. So it's going to be a green day thus far. And we'll check in a couple hours and see how this SPX trade's coming along. Okay, so just checking back in here. It's now 1 o'clock Central Time, and we're heading into the afternoon session now. Looks like SPX has kind of traded within a range today. Nothing exciting going on, so I'm still in those long calls, and we'll see how the afternoon session progresses. We'll just look at a few other things. CoreWeave is doing quite nicely today. It is holding that $119 level. And that's, of course, we had our calls here. We came down and filled the gap, and now we're back up. So that's doing pretty well. ETHA, the Ethereum ETF, is just languishing again today. I'm running out of patience on this particular ETF, but it's still within my risk tolerance. And so I'm holding on to the position for now. Interact Holdings is right here. We are doing fairly well today. We're holding in there. We're still above where I purchased my call, so I'm going to give this position time to work. Hood has traded down a little bit today. It's now right around this 200-day moving average. We'll see how that looks later on today. And then Palantir is doing quite nicely. It's off to the races, just like I suspected, doing quite nicely. So that's the afternoon, and we'll keep a very close eye on SPX here going into the close. I'm not really seeing any weakness per se, but yet we are trading in a tight range, and we'll see if we can just go a little bit higher toward the end of the afternoon. All right, I'll be back with the end of the day. Looking briefly intraday at the NVIDIA call that I purchased earlier today, we are already up $8,600 on the NVIDIA call. So that's 8.55% on the day. And we'll just kind of watch this over the next couple of days, and hopefully we can turn this into a really nice winning trade for us. This is the 15-minute NVIDIA chart. You can see here where I purchased those calls around 9:30 in the morning. We've since came back up, and we're kind of even with where we were on Friday. And if this looks good, hopefully we can continue to appreciate in price from here. And let's see the 4-hour chart briefly. Still well within this ascending linear regression channel. And I do think that NVIDIA has more room to run over the next couple weeks. So we'll try to stay in that range. I think if we can break above this 183, 184 level, then I think that bodes very well for NVIDIA stock. Okay, we are in the final 10 minutes of trading, just about 12 more minutes to go. And we're seeing a little bit of a push here on SPX. We were just kind of in the doldrums all day. We did not do much on this position. I still have my calls open, and I'm going to see how the next 5 minutes of trading goes. And I'll probably just go ahead and close out the SPX trade today. And it'll either be a slight loss or a slight gain on the trade. Probably not a lot of action today. Okay, that's the end of the trading day for me. I closed out my XPX position for essentially a break even. I think I made 10 cents on that trade. So sometimes you do very well on a day trade, and then other times you don't. But I got out of the position for a scratch essentially. But I did very well on the Seagate trade as well as the Bitfarms trade today. So not a bad day today. Pretty excited about it. And we'll go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll have another trading day tomorrow. So I hope you liked the content today. If you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button down below. So there you have it, folks. A $77,000 day. This is my calendar for the month of September. As you can see, my total wins are up to $389,000. And starting off this week with $77,000 win. I'm now positive on most of the month. I had some losing days on the 2nd and 3rd of September, but all of last week were green days, and I'm off to another positive start on the week of the 15th of September. Well, if you like this content, please subscribe to the channel. And while you're down there, please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, happy trading.